Hey everybody, it's Dan Sparrow, www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Today I wanted to talk to you about a Bill of Rights in a clinical trials. And here in my hand I'm holding the State of California's Experimental Research Subjects Bill of Rights. Now this is California, but in most states have their own version of this. And the good clinical practice, which is the standards of research for clinical trials, incorporate these elements, and good clinical practice, or GCP, is followed worldwide. So by reading you these Bill of Rights, Experimental Research Subjects Bill of Rights, I'm going to read each one, and I'm going to explain what they mean in simple language. So you should get one of these, or some type of variation of this, depending on what state you're in. But certainly for those of you in California, and I'll put it up here so you can see it, it is mandatory to have this. And I'll post this on the blog, so you'll see it much more clearly that way. So let me just read it here. California law under Health and Safety Code section 24172 requires that any person asked to take part as a subject in research involving a medical experiment, or any person asked to consent to such participation on behalf of another, is entitled to receive the following list of rights written in a language in which the person is fluent. This list includes the right to, and then it gives me 10, or it gives you 10 rights that you have. Now you have more rights than what's listed here, but these ones pretty much cover just about anything that you can think of. Number one, be informed of the nature and purpose of the experiment. So obviously they got to tell you during the informed consent process what the purpose of the clinical trial is, and in a simple or as easy to understand way as possible, the nature of the study. Is it an inpatient study? Is it an outpatient study? How many visits are there? What type of experiment, what kind of procedures are you going to be doing? Things like that. Number two, be given an explanation of the procedures to be followed in the medical experiment and any drug or device to be utilized. So basically, like I said, what type of procedures are you going to be doing in the study? Are you going to be doing EKGs, blood draws, spinal taps, DEXA scans, eye exams? What are you going to be doing? And also, what drug or device will be used? And if it's placebo, they have to also include that one. Number three, be given a description of any attendant discomforts and risks reasonably to be expected from the experiment. So, what do the researchers know that the drug has caused in previous people who participated in these studies using this drug or this device? What discomforts, what known side effects have been reported in maybe earlier phases? Have people reported headaches? Have they reported nausea? What have they reported? They already know a lot of information about the drug, and they have to disclose that to you. Be given an explanation of any benefits to the subject reasonably to be expected from the experiment. So, sometimes there are many benefits to joining clinical trials, and we've certainly listed them on our blog. And basically, you're supposed to be given an explanation of possible benefits for joining this study. Number five, be given a disclosure of any appropriate alternative procedures, drugs, or devices that might be advantageous to the subject and their relative risks and benefits. So basically it's telling you that the clinical trial is not your only hope for treating your condition, and oftentimes there are alternative treatments out there. So clinical trial is not necessarily may not necessarily be your best alternative, or it certainly may not be your only alternative. So they've got to highlight what your other options are outside of clinical trials. Number six, be informed of the avenues of medical treatment, if any, available to the subject after the experiment if complications should arise. This one's important. So, let's say you're in a study and you need to be withdrawn because you've got some kind of serious side effect that requires hospitalization. What kind of medical treatment are you going to be given? Who's going to pay for it? Things like that. Those need to be put in there. And every site will have some kind of policy or standard operating procedures in place to deal with serious adverse events or SAEs. So ask your research center about that. Number 7, be given an opportunity to ask any questions concerning the experiment or the procedures involved. So you should never feel like you're being rushed when you're signing the informed consent. You certainly need to be given plenty of time to think it over and to ask the staff questions, and they should give you plenty of time to ask those questions or to even think about questions, and then certainly they should answer them. Number 8, be instructed that consent to participate in medical experiment may be withdrawn at any time, and the subject may discontinue participation in the medical experiment without prejudice. Like we've said repeatedly on this blog post, you can withdraw from a study at any time for any reason. You don't even need to give a reason. You just need to say, I don't want to do it anymore, and that's it. They cannot tell you anything else. Although we've seen that law, or apparently that right, violated numerous times, and we have had examples on our blog of that, and it's unfortunate, but it should not be happening. And if it does happen to you, you need to stand up for yourself and take it up with the IRB, which is the ethics committee. And if that doesn't help you, call us. Or email us, whatever. We'll help you. Number 9, be given a copy of the signed and dated written consent form. So once you sign it, once the doctor signs it, you're given a copy. That copy has emergency numbers, study doctors after-hour numbers, IRB numbers, things like that. Finally, number 10, be given the opportunity to decide to consent or not consent to a medical experiment without the intervention of any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, coercion, or undue influence on the subject's decision. The choice for joining the trial is yours and yours alone. Maybe those ones closest to you as well, like family or friends or your support system. But you should not be coerced or bribed or be scared or threatened to join a study or told that it's your last resort. It really needs to be your own decision and shouldn't be influenced by anyone else. So those are your experimental research subjects Bill of Rights. Those are the ones for California. But like I said, if you follow good clinical practice, which should be followed worldwide, a variation of these is going to be enforced, and no matter what state you're in, some type of Bill of Rights exists for you. So the California one is just a good example because that's where I am. That's what we use. But pretty much of any type of variation of these Bill of Rights is expected, no matter what state you're in. So if you have any questions, you can always email me at Dan, that's D-A-N, at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Hope this helps. Thanks a lot. And it's Dan Sparrow, www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you.